Good morning, everyone. It's Jesse Almanza with Golf Forever Veterans. Welcome to the Military
Veteran family.
Family Channel. I kind of let the cat out of the bag for a second, but hey, it is what it is. It's Saturday morning, and we have a special show for you today, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that. But right now, I'll let Charles introduce himself.
I'm Charles Prentice. I am United States Air Force disabled veteran.
Awesome, awesome. Well, today, like I mentioned a while ago, we have a little bit of a twist. Little bit different session than what we normally do regarding the Military Veteran Family Channel. It's still the Military Veteran Family Channel. However, we're going to be talking about eras of conflicts in general, more particularly the most current era that a lot of people are not aware of. Uh, that that is currently that's currently here. It's currently happening. And that's for the individuals who are part of the what is called or considered the Gulf War era. Before we get started on that, I just like to kind of touch a little bit of basis on some of the other eras as we discussed in previous sessions, and it'll lead right up to where we go to our discussion and what we're gonna be talking about. So if we go back to let's just say World War II, because when we talk about World War One, there's not any more active retired or military veterans that are living as of today. Most of them have passed because of the time frame and stuff. But if we're looking at the declaration of war with World War II, we're talking we have anywhere between 100,000, maybe a little less than 100,000 veterans in that era still alive.
Hmm.
They're still with us, and of course. I've got to meet several of them, and when we talk about that era, we're talking in the age frame, Charles, of 100, maybe 99 years old, 101, 102. So we're talking of an era that's still in existence. There's still 100,000, maybe a little less, of those veterans still living amongst us and stuff. And uh, thank you for your service for all of you who are out there and meet that category. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to meet a handful of World War II era veterans, and boy, do they have some stories. I thought I had stories, but Charles, they can talk you up a storm and stuff. And then we talk about the Korea War or the Korea era, which is known as the they're known as the Forgotten War.
Forgotten War. That's correct.
They are veterans of the United States. They are veterans. They served our country as well. They were in the conflict during the Korea War era, and there's been a lot of discussion about those who were in that time frame. But the bottom line is that they're still veterans. They still serve our country faithfully, and we just want to make sure that they get acknowledged as well too. And then we go into the Vietnam era veterans. Currently, according to records and research that I've done, we're looking at about 5.6 million Vietnam era veterans that are still here living amongst us and stuff. And at one point in time, they were considered to be the biggest era of living veterans in throughout the United States.
Mhm.
But that has been superseded by another era which we'll be discussing a lot of during our session here, and we'll be talking about it. And we have a special announcement because of a special event coming up with the Gulf War era veterans. We always hear celebrations and ceremonies and acknowledgments and recognitions of Vietnam era. You always hear about World War II,
Yep.
Korea.
The honor.
Yeah, you hear a lot of that. I mean, and it's we're all veterans. We've all been there, done that. We've all served our country. But some of us have a tendency of, not really connecting with that era because that wasn't where we were at. That wasn't our existence. Yeah.
It's not our era, and it's. I've met people who do the honor flight stuff and have asked to be a chaperone if I would like to be a chaperone with that. As a bilateral amputee disabled veteran, it's harder to travel for me.
Yeah.
I would love to, but
Yeah, I can tell you, I have been involved with participating in these honor flights. Not going to Washington like they send a lot of these veterans to, because it's a good recognition for those veterans, and they it's overwhelming to some of them, and they get very well acknowledged and recognized and thanked and so on and so on. But I've assisted the our local VFW in the color guard and participating in the events where they're coming home. And of course, we present the colors, we move the colors forward ahead of them and stuff. And it's a big show. There's a lot of people that recognize them. In particularly, what our channel is based on is the military veteran family. And I say that because when I go to these events and stuff, there are a lot of families that acknowledge their veteran moms and dads and grandpas and great grandpas in some cases. And I like to see that, and that's what it's about. It's about acknowledging for the general public, not only the general public or not only the veteran families, but the general public as well, to acknowledge that these veterans are to be recognized and acknowledged and, thanked because of their service. Because there's a lot of things that we do today. You know, we live in this great United States to where we're able to do a lot of things. And the more and more that I look at other conflicts that are going on abroad in other countries, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be a part of that country.
yep.
I,
And that's that. We can go back to the saying, freedom isn't free.
yeah,
Somebody made a sacrifice, and with our um, military veteran family, hey, if know, you know, of family members who were Revolutionary War, you have your lineage of the military goes that far back, Civil War, because you have like sons and daughters of the Civil War. I mean, I know with ours is doing, when you do the whole uh, ancestry.com, which we're not supported by, but if they want to send support our way, we'd be more than happy.
yeah,
You know, my sister having done that, and I did that. We are sons and daughters of Civil War veterans. We have that lineage of a veteran family. Mine is until that we researched that the only one. Of course, my father I knew. My grandfather, his father, served not only Army but then cross trained into Navy and was a pipe fitter in the Navy. But it's that whole lineage of it, and then doing the research and going, hey, my family has been involved for a while in the military. So I when people thank me, I say, well, somebody's got to do it,
yeah,
and I come from a family line of it.
yeah. And just so you'll know that for informational purposes, and we're not part of the honor flight staff or anything like that. We're very familiar with what goes on with it. And what I'd like to let you know that if you have someone that's in the area of World War II, Korea era veterans, or even Vietnam era veterans, because those are the ones that are more focused on right now as providing this service too. They put them on a plane at their prospective city or town, wherever they live at, and then they fly them all the way to Washington, D.C., and they take them through all the memorials. And they have chaperones. Charles talked about it a bit ago. They have chaperones if they can't go on their own. You can push them with a wheelchair. You can actually be, as a family member, you can actually be a chaperone
Yeah.
for your great dad or granddad or father or grandfather or whatever, and take them through, and females as well. Don't discard. Do not remember. Do not remember the female veterans as well too, because they have them go as well. And it's an honorable thing to do is to be there when they return back to their cities. Not only do they have a grand ceremony of what do they call it when they greet them out
Hmm.
and into the planes, but they also have a receiving team that brings them in and, obviously recognizes them when they're coming back and stuff. And they run them through a little parade and stuff. But every city in the United States have an honor flight. So, regardless as to where you're at, you can Google. I do a lot of Googling. You can Google honor flight in your state, and you can get instructions or directions or how to go about figuring out how you can get your mom, your dad, your grandpa, whomever into one of these flights. Because I guarantee you, it is a very, very, very good thing to do for veterans and stuff.
So,
It doesn't cost them anything.
so you're telling me now that not only are you a Marine, but you're a Googler.
I'm a Googler. Yeah.
You're a Googling Marine.
Back in the days, I didn't Google. We
Back, back in the days, there was no Google.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. But as we move out of the eras of conflict, we move into a new generation based of other veterans that have served our great nation and that are now becoming a bigger, a wider force,
Oh,
more overly populated than the recent, 5.6 million Vietnam era veterans that are still out there. Now, the other generation, the other era of
current
conflict,
era.
the current era, which is the Gulf War era of veterans, are into play now. And right now their numbers are like 8.4 million Gulf War era veterans out there right now as we speak, and maybe even more because yeah, we do. I do research, and I get statistics from 2003, and I try to get in it and try to get most current, and sometimes they keep pushing me back, and the numbers vary every now and again, a little bit here and there. But the bottom line right now, as of today, and those that era of veterans is identified for anyone who served. You were serving in the armed forces from August of 1990. Most of you remember what happened in August of 1990 in the Persian Gulf region, Persian Gulf area, when Saddam invaded Kuwait, and then all hell broke loose. And then before you know it, there was hundreds of thousands of more than hundreds of thousands of active duty military personnel that were flooding the Persian Gulf area.
Mhm.
Theoretically speaking, that became the title of that era, which is now known as the Gulf War era. And I started in August of 1990, and believe it or not, Charles, how long
But
did
we,
that era
but, but we had a different name for it back then.
was it?
We had Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've talked to people out there that say, oh no, they were with Endurance Freedom
yeah. See, but
they went to Iraq or
that's the whole problem with it is like you just said, it is from August of 1990 when Desert Shield, Desert Storm started to present because it is still going on in that area, and that's like Vietnam. Um, like Jesse said, or I like to say Gunny. Gunny said, here, all these things went on Vietnam. I've got a list, and
battle.
and this is just, and you can probably see all the 2 pages, very small print, from
But you get the picture.
yeah,
A lot of battles.
Battle of
Vietnam.
Bach in January 2nd, 1963, all the way to Battle of Zulac, April 9th through the 20th, 1975. So from 63 to 75, and there are tons and tons of battle. I didn't count the number of it, but you know, and then we turn around and the battle that we have at home is people going, oh yeah, like you just said, oh I'm Iraqi freedom, or I'm, but the terminology for it is, and the definition, and this is from VA.gov, and this is from the Department of Defense.gov,
Veterans Administration.
Veterans Admit, all of it says from August 1990 till present is Gulf War era. veterans.
Right. Yeah. So it's ongoing. The Gulf War era is ongoing. It started in 1990 and it's currently there. Vietnam era ended officially through a proclamation that was obviously done by the President of the United States at that time in 1975. It was proclaimed the end of the Vietnam era. So that stopped that era. And then for a long time, up until 1990, from 75, mid 75, 1975 to 1990, when the Gulf War era started, there were things happening out there in the United States, outside of the United States. There were little battles here and there occurring. A lot of us, um, a lot of you that are currently veterans, participated in a lot of these little battles here and there, but not something that was considered or declared a conflict like the beginning of the Persian Gulf area, which is the Gulf War era that started in 1990. And you know, theoretically, officially, and non-official, because the evacuation of Afghanistan in 2021, that was the last time we've seen battle. That was the last time, August the 26th of 2021 is when we had that Abigail ordeal where 13 service members were killed. Most of them, the majority of them, were all Marines, and that was like the last known death that occurred during that time frame. But it didn't end there. 2020, it didn't really end because we moved out of Afghanistan. It doesn't mean that it ended right there. So,
Nope, there was no presidential proclamation, so that means the end of the era has not been.
yeah, and it continues. It'll probably continue for who knows how long, as far as we're concerned. You know, there's been millions and millions of men and women that have served during this era. I gave you the number, 8.4 million. And, to be honest with you, about 1.5 million of those Gulf War era veterans currently right now, 1.5 are female veterans.
Mhm.
Imagine that
And the 12th of June,
yesterday,
which is yesterday, but
two days ago.
when we post this, it'll be several days because it'll be on Tuesday that this will come out. But this past Friday, the 12th, Female Veterans Day,
Right?
and how many female veterans got recognized? I know I have some that are on Facebook, and of course my sister is that I reached out to say thank you, and I posted something on Facebook to
Yeah,
say
and we did a special recognition to female veterans when we did our last service, our last showing with our channel here, and of course, I mean, 1.7 million, 1.5 million, 1.7. The point seven is inclusive with the other eras when you add them together.
Mhm.
But the 1.5 million are just basically the Gulf War era female veterans in by numbers throughout continental United States and of course abroad and stuff. So that makes it a big amount of people that are gone there.
If you do the 1.5 million of the women, that's 17%
The veterans, right?
of the veteran demographic that is Gulf War era.
Yeah, so that's definitely
That's a lot.
definitely different. Charles and I, we've always kind of mentioned that we have an organization that we work with, and we're tied into besides the military veteran family channel, YouTube channel. And today we want to talk about the Gulf War era Veterans Incorporated because that's the name of the organization. Uh, it's a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization, and the service we provide is not a direct service. Like if you were to say that I'm working with a veterans organization by the name of Gulf War era Veterans Incorporated, you know, you'd probably say, well, okay, so what do they do? What do they give us? What do they? We don't provide homelessness for people. We don't give you
Provide homes.
vouchers.
We could,
For homes.
yeah, we could provide homelessness if you want us to take away your house. But no, we don't provide homes. We don't provide shelter, but we can get you connected with people who can help you in these areas. And that's what we're all about. We're out all about supporting, especially because we're both Gulf War era veterans. We're helping support Gulf War era veterans. But like we talk about with the military veteran family, we're not just going to leave aside any other veteran if they were approached,
And family.
yeah,
And family.
by Vietnam veterans or Korean War veterans. It's taking care of leaving no man or woman behind.
Yeah.
And it's taking care of those who have served this country. So we have, like Jesse. Jesse was doing this long before me. I got brought in, and I should have had my chaplain pin on, or a chaplain hat or something. I got brought in because I'm a youth pastor, and they were like, "Well, we don't have a chaplain, organizational chaplain, and a lot of these organizations have those." And so they went. Jesse said, "You're it."
You're
And
the
then
champ.
he said, and I need somebody to help me do this YouTube stuff. You're it. And so
Yeah. Stand in my way long enough.
I don't stand in the I don't stand in the way because um, squadron that I was in basic training was the 01st Squadron, 37 01st, lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. And
Yeah, so anyway, we wanted to kind of bring a different flavor to you about, we're still part of the military veteran family, but understand that because we're Gulf War era veterans are getting higher in number, there's been a lot of lack of recognition or acknowledgement or even understanding as to whether or not you are a Gulf War era veteran if you've served from 1990 until now. Charles alluded a while ago to where during the Vietnam era there was like 168 conflicts that took place all over Vietnam and abroad. So not everybody served in all of those conflicts and stuff. It's the same way with the Gulf War era. Not everybody served in Desert Storm or Desert Iraqi Freedom or what was the other one? Endurance
enduring freedom.
or Iraq itself or even Afghanistan. And not everybody served was there. But the truth of the matter is that because the definition of the Gulf War era starts in 1990 to today, it means that everyone that served amongst all of those conflicts that happened within the past 30 plus years are inclusive to being Gulf War era veterans.
That is
You know,
whether you were in country
yeah,
or not.
you didn't have to.
As long as you were in uniform during that
Yeah,
from August 1990 until now, if you just recently retired or just recently got out, guess what?
yeah,
That's a veteran. Is what
yeah.
you're listed as when you go into the VA system.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good thing to remember, Charles. So if you're ever in question about if you're a Gulf War veteran or not, go out and apply for a claim or file a claim. And when you get your letter of determination, when it says your veteran's identification, it's going to say Gulf War era veteran.
Mhm.
It's not going to say Vietnam era or Afghanistan or Iraqi or endurance freedom or anything else. It's going to say Gulf War era veteran. So that's one way that you can kind of identify that you belong or you're part of the bigger picture. You're part of Charles and I are only two of the 8.4 million veterans during the Gulf War that are here right now. So we're a big group and we consider ourselves that. And when you talk about our organization, that's what we do. First and foremost is we try to kind of identify with people and tell them that you're not by yourself. You're not, if 300 of you participated in a specific conflict while in the Persian Gulf area, you're not the only 300 and some odd people that participated. If you were serving in the military, you participated. You were serving your country. And you don't have to have been in theater or anything like that. If you were in the States or in Hawaii or wherever you may have been during that whole time frame, it doesn't matter. You're still a Gulf War veteran because by service and by serving your country during that time frame, you're still considered. That's the same way with the Vietnam era veterans. And I go back to the Vietnam era veterans because I want to make sure that we understand that we belong in a big in a big group. We're like the biggest gang there is in the whole world. We're a big gang. So if you want to put it that way, yeah, 'cause we're all brothers and we're all sisters, and we all do our thing. We all have been there, done that. We've acknowledged. And
More than a gang, Jesse. What our channel represents, we're family.
family, yeah, we're family. We're family, and it's a big family, huge family.
Huge family. Yeah, yeah. If we had to do a family reunion,
Well, actually,
I'm not footing the bill for that. But our country's footing the bill for a family reunion. We're marking 250 years this year, so and we wouldn't have 250 years of freedom if it wasn't for veterans. If it wasn't for those who signed on the dotted line to say we will give, including our lives, for the defense of this country. You know,
yeah, and another piece to our organization is we provide this venue called the No Zone, KNOWZONE. And what the No Zone provides to veterans, it's a combination of a lot of information that people may or may not need. If you don't need it, if you will happen to have tuned into it and you know that somebody else needs the information we provided, then by all means share it because that's what it's about. Send it out to other people because we cover little things that you normally don't want to get into the encyclopedia of the VA book to find out about these things. It's too convoluted, but we kind of help you in elementary terms to kind of start something going with you,
mhm.
like doing an intent to file. We'll give you the information on that. We're not in any way, shape, or form part of the VA, nor do we work with the VA. But we are able to provide services for you in referral form. In other words, we can refer you to other organizations that can provide that for you. But in the meantime, give you information about what is good for you, what you need, what you should know, and because it's not just about the veteran themselves, it's about the family as well too. And we have to kind of be aware of that. It's not always something that deals with just the veteran alone. Most recently, we've helped out individuals that are now widows of surviving spouses. We've helped them along the way to try to get compensation to help them along the way because now their veteran husband or wife have passed on, and believe it or not, family members are entitled to some compensation. But there are some requirements, some homework that you have to do, and we help move along that process for you and refer you to the proper locations where you can get all your questions answered, but let you know and give you that information that is there. And we also celebrate celebrate being Gulf War Era veterans. It's been 5 years, going on 5 years on August the 21st. It'll be 5 years that the final evacuation of Afghanistan happened. Like 5 years, five. That's a long time. So those of us who remember that horrible, horrific evacuation that month, there was a lot happening during that month. A lot of stuff happened. To commemorate that day or that month, Gulf War Era Veterans Incorporated has, for the last 3 years, this will be the third year, we have been providing for Gulf War Era veterans an event or social event called the Gulf War Era Veteran Gala.
Yep.
And for the Gulf War Era veteran and their guests, you don't pay anything for it.
Yep.
Cost you a dime, you just attend.
Well, it might cost you some money if because this is not a show up in your ripped up jeans and t-shirt. This is a gala. This is if you want to throw on a military uniform, if you want to throw on your mess dress, or and you have to get that all put back together, or your spouse wants to get a new dress, that might cost you. But the food entry into this, that's not going to cost you a thing. We're providing that for free. Transportation, we don't provide that, so you might have to pay for gas.
To get there.
Um,
Yeah.
and ours is just recently we decided that if you're active duty and you want to attend, because if you get out in this point in time,
You're a Gulf War
So you served during the Gulf War era. There are people who served during the Korean or during the Vietnam War, and then went into Gulf War. I was reading about they have the movie We Were Young, with the gentleman who not only was he did he serve and on D-Day he was in there, but he served in Korean War, and then he served in Vietnam. I and it escaped me the man's name, but he was one of the toughest people in the cavalry. Uh,
I don't remember the name either. I sometimes don't. I don't remember sometimes. I just forget.
but it's one of those things that you look at. It's like, okay, well, there are
Yeah.
people who were Vietnam veterans who were still in when the Gulf War rolled around,
Oh, yeah.
and so it's a matter of not only were Vietnam, but your Gulf War era. But if you're currently serving now and you get out, well, guess what? You're Gulf War era veteran. So we said, hey, let's. Somebody had suggested it and said, hey, can we have this open to active duty? Yes. So there's
Yeah.
there's a little QR code. Hopefully, we can insert it in here. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll give you those directions or
yep,
instructions in a few minutes. But you're absolutely right because the definition stands for itself. It says from 1990 to present.
yep,
We feel strong that if you happen to be active duty and you're in our area, because we are in North Carolina,
mhm,
and this is where this is going to happen at in North Carolina. Welcome, to be exact. Welcome, North Carolina. Um, that's where it's going to happen. So if you're in the area or in the immediate area, or if you want to travel from wherever you want to come from, we do have memberships. We actually have a pretty good size social media presence. We have Facebooks. We have a private page for Gulf War veterans. We have the military veteran YouTube channel, the military veteran family YouTube channel. So we have a lot of connections to where people from all over the place can see this invitation. And again, you're invited if you are in the area and you want to come. We do encourage you to register
mhm.
because as we get closer to the event, it's going to be to the point to where we don't want to turn anybody away if we get overwhelmed with attendees. But we'll try to put that information on the side here or send it off in other ways as far as how to get a hold of us and stuff. Or you can just message us or you can always put on the chat. Let us know that you're interested in getting some information. Let us know how we can contact you. That way we can send you the information back. That would probably be the easiest way. In social media nowadays, oh my God, you can reach all over the world. We have members in outside of the United States as well because there are Gulf War veterans that live in other countries. And they're part of our channel sometimes, and sometimes they come in, and sometimes they don't. But at their convenience, they're probably sleeping right now if they happen to be in Britain, Great Britain, where he's from. But either way, uh, we don't do this by ourselves. We bring along our brothers and sisters or our parents, the parents or the husbands or the wives or the brothers and sisters of those who paid the ultimate price, which are the Gold Star families. We are honored. We've been honored for the past 3 years to invite and have Gold Star families participate in our event. So if you are a Gold Star family and you are interested in attending our event, our gala event, this will be on August the 29th, by the way. We still have a couple of months left. But it's always good to register because we don't know what direction it'll take us between now and then. Uh, if you are a Gold Star family member, you are welcome to it. We'll be honored to have you as our special guest, which, by the way, we will have a speaker, two speakers. One of them is a guest speaker for a Gold Star family, a mother that lost her son uh, uh, in Afghanistan, I believe. But she'll be one of the speakers that we'll have. And we'll have another speaker I can't quite tell you who that speaker is yet because although I have a little bit of a confirmation, I don't have an actual commitment and confirmation to say, hey, by the way, we have so and so coming as well. But as we identify them, we will let you know. We'll pass it out. Oh, and when you do register, understand that we will send you a letter of thank you, thanking you to register, and we'll update you with anything that you need to know about the gala itself.
Mhm.
And Charles alluded to about the uniforms and stuff a while ago. You know, it will cost you a little bit. So if you want to wear your uniforms, you know, we only require that you check with your prospective branch of service to make sure that you are within their guidelines of wearing the uniform and so on, the ribbons and badges and all that. Because it is, I personally will wear my uniform as well, and others that I know that are going will wear the uniform. There's others. This is a funny story because there's others that tell me, well, I would love to wear my uniform, but I don't fit into it anymore. And I make that very, very smirky remark to them and say, well, you got 2 months. You got 2 months to get that uniform on you and stuff. And dress it up. Wives, spouses, partners, friends, your dates, dress it up because it's a gala. We want you to spiffy up. It's a free event, free food for the Gulf War veterans and your guests. Enjoy it. If you have not have decided to have a date on August the 29th, make a date. Make that date and tell your wife or your husband or tell your friend, or who your guest, whoever you're taking. Tell them to go all out because
Yep.
that's what it's about. It's a one time a year if you haven't done it in a while, and it's free. So how can you beat
Yep.
that?
That's why we need the whole registration thing is because
Right?
we're going to provide dinner.
Yeah, and
So,
that's
and so
important.
we need to know how many people are coming for dinner, because if you are providing dinner for a group of guests, you'd want to know how many's coming to your house.
Yeah.
The other thing is like you were talking about with uniform and dress. Well, I've been doing some research. Mini medals and regular medals and your ribbons. Guess what? The military, and that's all branches, say, hey, yeah, you can wear those. You can wear them for special occasions. That's what this is. That's why it's a military gala. It's a Gulf War Aerobatic gala. It is a special occasion. You can put those things on. You put them on the same way you put them on your regular uniform, on the lapel of your jacket or on your jacket, above the pocket. However you did it while you were in the military, depending on what branch. But and then there's different sites I've found that actually produce. You can get your whole thing. You can send in your DD4 214,
Yeah.
a copy of the ribbons that you've earned, and they will actually produce the rack for you. And you don't have to, because I remember going through putting it on my blues and get my rack straight and making sure everything's in the proper order according to um,
Yeah,
the
spacing and all that
specifications.
stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. There's companies that'll do that for you. That might cost you a little bit of money, but like we said, the gala itself is free. And the other good thing is, what do we have? We had two televisions last year that were given away, brand new. I think there were 50-inch televisions, smart TVs, because we have people who support the Gulf War veterans, and so like we said, we're a nonprofit, and we have had companies who have sent us gifts to give away. We've had raffles and drawings, and we spent probably 15, 20 minutes just doing some giveaways with stuff. So this is not, you got a chance to win something. Also,
Yeah.
free food and win something, and then dance afterwards. I mean, you might not be a dancer, but your spouse might be. Um,
Yeah. And when you talk about Gulf War Veterans Incorporated, the organization, like Charles alluded to a while ago, we are a charitable organization. We do get donations to assist us in allowing us to be able to do this for you. Obviously, Charles is not going to give me a check to pay for the whole thing, and neither am I going to do that. But because we have faithful supporters out there that acknowledge what we're doing and know and understand that they want to treat a veteran. They provided the donations, in-kind donations, raffle donations like TV sets or whatever. And it's going to happen. It's going to be a fun night. I really wish that if you don't have a date yet on the 29th of August and you're in our area here, or
5 o'clock.
even if you're out of state, I really wish that you would come to this. What do you expect to get out of something like this? Well, you can connect with fellow veterans. I've got veteran friends of mine that might make it in from other states, which is fine, but I've experienced many things while I do YouTube channels or while I'm doing Facebooks with veterans that I haven't seen in 20, 30 years, fellow fellow individuals that I went to Desert Storm with. We were front lines and we were on a log train doing our stuff, and here they are popping out of nowhere. Hey, I haven't seen you in a long. You sure got ugly, didn't you? Those kind of things. So, but anyway, you get to connect with other veterans, and you get to connect with people you've never seen. You'll have fun. I can guarantee you. This is selected to be a very fun night and stuff.
We even our music um, is provided by a veteran.
Oh yeah,
Tim Johnson. He's a U.S. Navy veteran. So,
yeah.
it's,
He's been with us for the last 3 years. I don't
yep,
think I want to give him up anymore. He's awesome, and
yep.
just upon request, whatever you want to hear and stuff. As I mentioned before, we do have two keynote speakers that will be speaking, and then we'll have a recognition that's going to be that we have been honored by legislation that are starting to acknowledge that this recognition or acknowledgement for Gulf War veterans has taken too long, considering that it's been 5 years that everything went down and nothing has been brought back to us. So on this particular night, we'll have something special that we'll be able to present to each and every one of you. And obviously, we'll probably end up having congressional congressmen or whatever, but they won't speak. They won't. They won't be telling you to vote for them or anything like that because I put that off limits already. They're going to be there as guests. They're going to be as they're just like you are. They're going to be meeting people, talking to people and stuff because that's what it's about. Don't bring your work with you. Bring stories with you. Bring fun because there'll be a lot of laughter. There'll be some fun. There'll be all kinds of things happening. I get excited because it is an exciting thing to finally acknowledge that there's so many of us out there. And yes, you do hear of little things that are happening every now and again. You have some associations that have their own little gatherings, but not an association that's inclusive, that includes everyone in general, including the Gold Star families. And that's what we look forward to, is to having a great night for that. The food will be great. The raffles, donations, there'll be a lot of stuff. Silent auction. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but we'll send you a letter once you register and give you more details as we go along. We are going to put a call to action though, because this year we have an opening ceremony that we are very excited about, and we are soliciting or looking for two members of every branch to open our ceremonies with your respective colors. In other words, the if I have two Marines in uniform, if I have two Marines in uniform, one of you will walk in with your color flag, with your flag, your Marine Corps flag, and the other one will be walking in as a rifle bearer. So that's going to go for every branch, two Army, two Navy. We have some people that have lifted their hands up and said they'll do it. I don't have any commitment is the thing. If you commit and you say you want to do it, I'm going to put your name down and I'm going to, it doesn't take a lot of your time. We probably won't ever meet until the day before or the day of to do the practice because it doesn't take much to walk your colors in and present them to however many people we have.
If you've marched, you know how to march.
Yeah, it's very simple.
It's on my foot first. It hasn't changed.
I think they know that, Charles. So if you are someone that might be interested in doing that, reach out to us. Send us a message on the chat. Give us your name. Say, hey Jesse, I am interested in being your Navy representative to carry the colors. or to do the rifle barrier or whatever. But we're looking for that. That's our beginning opening ceremonies. Because as we plan for this thing, we plan to make it good. And in order for us to make it good, we need your help
Yep.
and we need your participation. And we're all service members, and we've all been there, done that. And a good two 2 to 5 minutes is what we're going to ask time from you for, is to get this ceremony opening off and getting us off to a good start because for the rest of the night it's going to be fantastic, and I really can't wait for it and stuff. So I just again just letting you know that this event, if you're a Gulf War veteran, regardless as to what conflict you were involved with, starting with Desert Storm, Desert Shield, 1990, and a lot of us been there, all the way through currently today. And for the last few sessions, I've been asking if anybody knows of any Space Force guardians that are out there, because that's who they are. Like, we're United States Marines, we're Devil Dogs, and we're whatever. Uh, the Space Force are considered guardians as well. That's their thing. So if you know of any guardians out there, whether they're still serving or they're veterans, connect them with us or have them connect to us because we sure would like to have a Space Force guardian move those colors forward for your branch of service. That would be awesome. That would put the icing on the cake.
Yep.
I know,
100%.
I know there's only like 9,400 of you out there. All we need is two.
Yep.
One, I'll settle for one, but you really need is two. And you could be serving currently right now as we speak as well too. So let us know. Reach out to us in the chat and send us your name and stuff, your contact information, and we'll connect with you immediately and stuff. So, we wanted to do this special presentation to number one to launch the event that we have coming because we are very excited about it. Things are looking up. We want people to get together. We want people to talk. We want you to have fun, enjoy yourself one night. If it's the only night you've done it out of the whole year, make this that one night because it's going to be special for you. And if you bring your guests with you, I'm sure they will enjoy it as well too.
Oh yeah, because I mean, what other time do you have where you can sit around and harass other branches of the military, where you've got a larger group of other branches of the military? I mean, I get to pick on Gunny all the time because we see each other at least once a week to uh, do these live streams. And mine is he wants to keep referring to them as devil dogs, and it's more crayon eater than devil dog.
Blame it on the Germans.
Let's we
They
blame the Germans for a lot of stuff, but
they were
mine is,
talking about.
mine is of course because they want to call me Chair Force because I'm Air Force. We're the slack group and we just get to sit back and relax, but we don't eat crayons. And so the Marines are known as crayon eaters. So, it's one of the things. So his birthday will be coming up. So maybe I need to buy him one of the multi packs of crayons for his birthday so he can celebrate in style.
Got to have all the 1,800 colors.
But I have a question for you, Jesse, because you're a Marine, and I have always heard once a Marine, always a Marine. Now, I'm not going to dog out Tunnels Towers because Tunnels Towers is a great organization. But one of their spokespeople that they have on there is what is his name? Ron Riggle, the actor. And he said, I was a former Marine. And I went, what?
Well, I would dog him out. Or there are no ex-Marines.
So,
That's the
if you're watching this and you know him, tell him. Tell him I'm calling him out. And I'm Air Force. I'm calling him out. There's no such thing as former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. That's what Semper Fidelis means. Always faithful. And he's not being faithful if he says former. I mean, I'm United States Air Force, and I will tell you I'm United States Air. I am still Air Force. Um, and I've been out for quite a while now, since 1994, but it was driven into my skull that what being in the military was all about. I plus minus I was a military brat. My dad spent 26 years in. I grew up around the United States Air Force, and so I will always be United States Air Force.
And just to let you know, we're in the process of putting a lot of this information into our website. So if you happen to pop into our website and you don't see it in there yet, give it another couple more weeks because that's how long it's going to take me to get everything in there. Our website happens to be golfforeverveteran.org. Golfforeverveteran.org. That's our website. You'll get to read a little bit about us, who we are, the type of work that we do, and how we do it. We are a nonprofit, 501(c)(3), and we welcome donations. If you're a patriot, true patriot out there, and you want to support our efforts,
One is, yep.
reach out to us and let us know how you can do it.
You want to make this gala even bigger and better? Send us some funds or send us some, you know, hey, if you do artwork or you do,
Yeah.
a lot of the 3D printing and you have figurines and stuff that you want to use, say, hey, and we will tell people this is where it came from. Stuff like that. There's a person out there who is every year has contributed. We've done the silent auction for it, where the proceeds go to the Gulf War era veterans. The little plaques of your military plaque. I actually have two Air Force Ones. I've got one
Insignia on a plaque, on a stake, on a stake,
stake. Yep.
stake,
Yep.
not a burning stake, but
Yep.
But yeah, your donations and your recognitions and your support will not go unnoticed. We will put you on our mail, on our tables, on the flyer with your name, your contribution efforts, and so on. And you will, you'd have to provide that to us, of course, because we don't know what your organization or whatever is, but we would be happy to put that and give you back something
Yep.
as well too, so you can be recognized as well. So. We are out of the event will be at the Richard Childress Event Center, and that's in Welcome, North Carolina. That information will be on our website once we get it on there. Give us, like I said, give me a couple weeks, and I'll make sure that everything gets on there. But go to our website, read into it. You'll get more information from there. Follow us, subscribe to our channel.
Like,
Make sure you share the information.
yep. Like, subscribe, and share.
That way we can connect with each other and stuff. And we look so forward into meeting you in person. We look forward into having a good time and stuff. And like I said, dress to impress. And it's a one night event. If you haven't had a date in a long time, schedule it today. Put it on your calendar.
Yep.
August the 29th. August the 29th, 2026. Golf Forever Veterans Gala. And if you're a Gold Star member, if you're a Gold Star family, please, by all means, register. We welcome you as well too.
Yep.
And it is also you don't pay anything either. It's all free for you as well. So please, looking forward to hearing from you guys. I've got to go to my registration log because it looks like people are starting to register from my previous meetings the last couple of days, and I will send you information once you register, any updates, anything that we need to talk about. And thank you very much. Like, subscribe, share our channel, and I hope you have a blessed week.
Yep. Peace, love.